Might make this video a little bit shorter, but kind of want to just hop on here today and talk about being independent, being getting used to being alone. I think it's so easy for us as humans to play the victim card and for us to think that we're just going through life and the challenges and the adversities and the trials that we go through. It's all just on us. Like nobody else is going through the same pain. Like nobody else is going through the same trials or the same hardships. It's so easy because we don't see anybody else going through it. We don't hear anybody else going through it. But I'm telling you right now, like people are going through challenges and trials, but you just don't know it. But I say this to you because I wanted to bring something up that I think is very important, and it is having peace with who you are. And not only that, is just spending time alone. I find it interesting. There are some people that cannot sit in a room with no music, no TV, no social media, nothing. Can sit in a quiet room and enjoy their peace. Some people can't do that. Some people have to have music. Some people have to have people around them. Some people have to have TV, whatever it is, like a dog, a pet, something for them to feel comfortable. Like not a lot of people can sit in pure silence. Like that. Like I enjoy that. I don't know what it is. Like some people can feel very uncomfortable with it. Like it gives them anxiety. Dude, I find so much peace in it. And I don't know, it's probably because of the way I grew up. But I think because of that, it gives me so much an advantage. Like I am more independent than most people my age. Like, I don't rely on anybody. No one. But that doesn't mean like I can't ask for help. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I'll give an example. I remember I met this one girl and she was telling me, we were talking about relationships, and she was telling me that she could not go a long period of time without being in a relationship. She just felt like she needed to be in a relationship at all times. And she was very dependent on another person and how she lived her life. Like she had to live her life with another man or with a man in her life. She had to. And I think that can be a very scary place to be, because if you become so dependent on one thing, especially for another human being, you become so dependent on having at least one human being in your life. For example, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I know the majority of my audience is guys, so a girlfriend. Matter of fact, as a man, if you become so dependent on a girlfriend, bro, you are not a man, bro. I mean that with no disrespect. Like, you need to be independent. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, having a girlfriend, like, she does a few things to make it easier on your life. Like, yes, that is great. That is great to have. But you're not dependent on that. If she goes away, you don't need her type thing. That's how you need to be. But I found that interesting because if you become so dependent on one thing, like I mean so dependent on one thing, you're powerless. And it doesn't even have to be another human being. It could be a certain food. It could be a drug. It could be materialistic things like a car or a house, a pool, a watch, like clothes. Like if you become so dependent on like an identity or an outside source that isn't internally within you, you will always be screwed. Always. Because once that thing is taken away from you, then what are you? You know what? I find another thing interesting. A lot of athletes will become very depressed or feel lost in life after hanging up the cleats or retiring from playing sports because they identified their entire life around the sport. And now that it's gone, they don't know who they are. They don't know who they want to be. They don't know who they want to become. And that's scary. That is so scary. Like think about all the college athletes out there who all they had was sports. That's all they had. All they had was sports to get them out of their town, out of their hood, in order for them to have a better life. They go to school on a full ride scholarship, and then they get injured. Their scholarship is gone, and they can no longer play the sport anymore. That sucks. That sucks. Like, imagine the one thing that you thought you could identify yourself as is now taken away from you. That's rough. And I think as humans, we should learn to be independent. I think we should learn to be in a room full of silence and see how comfortable you can get. Like having just you and your thoughts, or just being isolated for a little bit. Like granted, I've been independent since I was a kid, so for me it's just life for me. But like if I were to go for like a week vacation by myself, I'd be chilling. Most people can't even go out to eat by themselves. You see what I'm saying? And once you do that, it's interesting. Once you become independent, you start making your own decisions. You start doing things based upon what you believe and what you think is best. Once you start doing that, and of course you start making mistakes, once you start learning like what is right from what is wrong, what is good from what is bad, and what you should do versus what you shouldn't do, like once you start doing that, you start having this confidence like nobody else has. Like you honestly could care less like of the outcome, because you know at the end of it, you know it's gonna be all right. You know, because you have developed in a way to the point where if you make a decision, regardless of the outcome of the decision, you're gonna get better. Regardless of what it is. Like if something bad happens, okay, cool, I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna slip. Because you're so used to being independent. When you're independent, you have to learn how to take on the challenges by you. Nobody else can help you. Nobody else is gonna save you. Nobody else is gonna hold your hand and walk you through it. Once you get to that point, anything that comes your way, you're like, oh, I got it. I'm chilling. Like, all right, here's an example. When I was in college, this was during like COVID, I guess you could say. We got our stimulus checks, right? And I looked at one of my boys, and I was like, bro, you want to go to New York? And at the time, we were living in North Carolina. I was like, bro, you want to go to New York? He was like, nah, why? That's like right now, like no that plan, nothing. Like, yeah, bro, let's just go. He's like, nah, bro, like I gotta tell my mom. I was like, your mom? I was like, bro, we're in college. Let's just go. Bro, let's book the flights. Let's get the hotel. We'll be there for 2 days. We'll come back and we'll go back to school. We're on break. Let's go. I gotta let my girlfriend know, you know what I'm saying? And just, I don't think my mom would be cool with it. He was dependent. And it's interesting, to this day, that same guy, he's my boy. And I remember telling him that story, or reminding him of that day. And he was like, dude, I can't believe the kind of person I was back then. And he will agree with me. He was very dependent. He was very dependent. He wasn't as independent as he is now. Now, if I were to be like, yo, my boy, let's go to Fiji. Okay, bet. When are we going? You know? But that's part of what I'm trying to get the point across. The second story I'll tell you is that like I just got my new apartment, right? And for most people, like most people would be so nervous and so overwhelmed with getting in a new apartment. I've actually seen it multiple times with some of my friends. And I remember when I finally got the date for my move-in date, I was like, bet, like, I don't know how I'm gonna get all my stuff down there, but I'm gonna figure it out. And my mom was getting all concerned. She was like, do we need to get a U-Haul? Do we need to make a bunch of trips? Like, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, Mom, relax, we're gonna figure this out. Next day, going to work, they called my manager and I was like, yo, can I take this van off the lot to move into my apartment? And he was like, yeah, bro, no problem. Done. Right? And I know I've had friends in the past that were like, dude, I'm gonna have to get like a U-Haul, and I'm gonna, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna get all my stuff. And I understand, like, it can be very stressful, for sure. I'm not gonna say that it's not. Like, I was just in a blessed position that I work at a used car dealership, and I was able to take one of the vans off the lot to be able to do that. Like, I'm blessed, right? But even that, in that stressful time for me of getting everything in and getting everything situated, making sure I had my account set up to pay my bills and everything was together, I wasn't that stressed. Like, I wasn't concerned about paying rent. I wasn't concerned about getting everything moved in. Like, granted, I truly believe I had one of the easier move-ins just because I had a lot of support. But I don't know what it is. Like, now that I got things going on and I'm in a position to where I have been through so much on my own. Like, whenever something challenging or some type of adversity or trial comes my way, I just take it on. Me and God. I'm like, all right, God, we doing this? All right, cool, let's go. I say this to you because there will be some of you watching this who are very dependent on something. Whatever it is, whether it's a sport, whether it's a drug, whether it's drinking, smoking, vaping, video games, whatever it is, you're very dependent on it. And I want you to ask yourself this: if this was taken you today, if this was all taken away from you, what would you do? How would you live your life? Would you be pissed off about it? Would it bring you anxiety and stress if it wasn't in your life? If that's the case, you got to be careful. Because now that is a crutch on your life that will deteriorate your life if you do not detach from it at some point. Now, of course, I think with a few things, very few things, that you can be dependent on. For me, it's God. I'm very dependent on God. I think that's why I have so much peace. I have so much peace because I have so much dependence on God. Yeah. Like, honestly, I honestly, yeah. I am so dependent on God, and I'm blessed to be sitting here in my 2-bed, 2-bath apartment, paying rent by myself, doing everything by myself. I'm blessed to have a mother who is supporting me, and I'm blessed to be in a position where, like, I'm at peace, man. I'm at peace. But just because I'm at peace doesn't mean I'm content. And that's kind of where I want to leave it off. But become independent and watch what kind of person you become. Because when you become independent, not only do you feel more confident in yourself, like, this will be the last thing and I'm going to cut off. I know I said I was going to cut off. But just imagine, you've done this time and time again, where you've done something on your own and you felt like you were, like, some type of fulfillment. Like, it got you excited. Like, it felt like you felt good about doing it on your own. Didn't need any help but maybe God. That's it. There's a certain confidence that comes from that. And because of that, if you keep doing stuff like that over and over and over and over and over again, whenever challenges or hard times or adversity comes your way, you know you got it. Because it's not like it's something you haven't done or haven't been through before. And if it is a new challenge, you're like, come on, let's go. Because you know in the end you're going to get through it regardless. So become independent and watch the type of man you'll become.